The appointment of Xabi Alonso as Bayer Leverkusen manager captured the imagination of football fans all over the world. We love to see former icons of the game take the managerial hot seat and apply on the pitch the principles and the philosophies that really made them an icon of the game. And Xabi Alonso has really got the imagination going with what he could create at Bayer Leverkusen. They had a really good run in Europe last season and a bit of a final hurrah towards the end of the season. They'd been really poor without Florian Wirtz last year under the previous manager. And Xabi Alonso managed to take a very well-built squad full of young, high prospect talent and really not just get a tune out of them as a team, but we started to see some of the individuals really start to flourish and start to realise their potential. In the transfer window already, Xabi Alonso has been operating like a smooth operator, like a veteran of the transfer window. Very early signing, Alex Grimaldo from Benfica was confirmed before even the final whistle was blown on the season, but we've also seen Granit Xhaka been signed well ahead of schedule, join the club, and a little bit more recently, Jonas Hofmann from Borussia Mönchengladbach, and this kind of spine of experience that Xabi Alonso has really installed into the Leverkusen team, I think made them already serious competitors to be the challenger elect to Bayern Munich this season with the style of football and with the fact that they've managed to keep Florian Wirtz signed on for this season. That was already confirmed a little while ago. And so far, the rest of their prize assets, Jeremy Frimpong, Edward Tapsoba, they've managed to keep away interested parties for long enough that I'm starting to think these guys are bought in for the season ahead. And, you know, Leverkusen for me are definitely the Bundesliga team that I'm the most excited to be paying attention to. Now, the reason I'm looking at them now is they just made a huge sale again in this window. Leverkusen have got a fantastic track record of selling players that they bring through when they're younger and sell them into the good and the great of world football for high transfer values. Julian Brandt, Kai Havertz previously, and now we're seeing Moussa Diaby. Now, you might have a laugh at those three names because they've been very good, but they've also been mixed. They've not all definitely hit the absolute heights of their potential. But with the Diaby transfer going out, I think it's really changed the makeup of what I thought Leverkusen were going to be shaping up with this season. Now, before Moussa Diaby was sold, this would have been the way you'd have expected to see Bayer Leverkusen set up under Xabi Alonso, with Xhaka and Palacios coming in and, you know, even behind Odilon and Tapsoba, options like Jonathan Tah, Piero Hincapié, never mind Noah and Bamba. Leverkusen have been cultivating a lot of high prospect talent in their ranks and they do have a lot of options. But this solid box here looks to be something that Xabi Alonso wants to recreate from his playing days at Real Madrid and Liverpool into this Bayer Leverkusen team. This real engine room where you can be really solid defensively, control the tempo of the game and the transition of the ball, as well as having the range of passing to be able to find your more creative players that do have a turn of pace in them. But Patrick Schick has got a bit of an injury at the moment and the deputies in behind him, Sardar Azmoun, Adam Holzek, maybe Amin Adli comes into this conversation, even including Patrick Schick. None of these guys for me have been that formidable and that nailed on for Leverkusen. With Diaby being sold, that opens up a big hole into left wing, and when you see that Diaby is sold and then they go and sign Boniface over from USG in Belgium, you think, oh well, they're going to go and get another striker. Maybe there's going to be some sort of adaptation to this shape somehow when they're on the ball. We've seen Wirtz play in a lot of different positions. Maybe he could find himself out in this wide area here and somebody else would fill in the midfield currently in their ranks. But I think for this season, Xabi Alonso wants to get the absolute maximum that he can out of Florian Wirtz, and that is going to be in this position here where he does have the freedom to move into pockets of space, go on the overlap, break into the box and go on and support. And Boniface, as much as I think overall he probably will find a home in Leverkusen as being the arrowhead forward, the fox in the box striker for them, if you actually look at this guy's style of play when he was in Belgium, he's very comfortable dropping into these areas here to link up with play as it's getting built out from the back and even quickly turning in transition, getting the ball in here, playing a little bit of give and go with a midfield and then getting himself into the box while other players are given the ball in those areas to go and create chances for him to be on the receiving end to go and make it happen in the final third himself. So I think ultimately this is where he could end up, but because he does have that versatility and he does have that turn of pace, he might actually be a little bit more of a replacement for Diaby on the wing position here. I'm only putting Azmoun in here over seniority. It could be Holzek, it could be Adley, it might even be Wirtz, but I don't think it will be Wirtz because I think think if you have a really good striker up here, like an Asmund or like a Schick can be, you've got the industry now of a Jonas Hofmann. If we could keep Jeremy Frimpong in this team, I beg your pardon, then this right-hand side is probably going to be one of the most well-built in Europe for my money. We're having Xhaka and Palacios spraying passes from deep. You can see guys like Wirtz and Boniface being versatile enough to come into these little pockets of play here, allowing Grimaldo to be the outlet on the left-hand side a lot more. And it's all going to be dictated by Florian Wirtz and where his play in the match goes himself, because if he is to focus himself on the right-hand side in open play, if that's where the space opens up, then this is how we could equally see it. But again, on the left-hand side, it's just as viable to see this kind of shuffle across effort. And it makes it really easy with the flexibility of Wirtz and then potentially the flexibility of Boniface and one or two others that are now in this front line, as well as how amazing the wide fullbacks they have in their team are at holding those wide positions, how amazingly accurate their deliveries can be. So if you're stuffing the box full of these types of players and you've got the likes of Grimaldo and Frimpong doing wide deliveries, I can see this being a really formidable Bayer Leverkusen team. I do feel that maybe a striker, or if Boniface is to become the striker himself, another wide option is definitely on the menu for Bayer Leverkusen's best 11 to really look Champions League level, because Xabi Alonso is going to have a really grueling open period of the season when he's going to be playing Europa League group stages, as well as we know in the Bundesliga, getting in hot patches of form, especially when the fixture list is so condensed with the group stages of European football, is vitally important to get a strong foothold in the table going into the business end of the season later on. So I think this Leverkusen team is going to be going all guns blazing from the beginning, and I do just worry. They do have a depth in numbers, and yes, they do have some quality, but when you take out the likes of Xhaka and Palacios, Karim Demirbay and Nadim Amiri are hotly linked to be leaving the club, so there's not even that much real depth in some of these really key positions in Xabi Alonso's team. But I do feel that Leverkusen, for as far as the Europa League goes and for the Bundesliga, are firmly going to be one of my dark horse teams that I'm going to be really paying attention to. And I think they're going to score buckets of goals. I think they're going to be lots of fun to watch. And I think this could be the season that Florian Wirtz really announces himself on the world stage. He's starting the season fit. He's got goals and assists in him. He can do it from range. He's not selfish. And it feels like this team is so well constructed now that someone like Wirtz can just flow in here and flourish. I expect a lot from them. Let me know what your expectations are for Bayer Leverkusen this season in the Bundesliga or in the Europa League, because from where I'm sitting, I make them one of the most exciting teams in Europe to be paying attention to. I still think that Moussa Diaby money could be reinvested in the squad. And again, I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on what they need to take that next step up to be a Champions League team. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.